Squeezy.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a closer look at Tomra, the company behind those reverse vending machines you see at the grocery store. We've been digging through some recent articles, and let me tell ya, getting ready for this deep dive has been a real eye-opener. Tomra's ambitions go way beyond just recycling bottles.
That's right. What's fascinating about Tomra is how they've evolved. They've taken their know-how in sensor-based sorting, from the recycling world, and applied it across a surprising number of industries.
Oh, really? Like what?
We're talking food, batteries, plastic waste management, even mining for raw materials.
Whoa, I had no idea their operations were so diverse. I mean, I knew about the bottle return machines, obviously, but diamond mining, that's a whole other level.
It's true. Tomra's X-ray technology was actually instrumental in discovering the second largest diamond ever found.
Seriously?
Yeah, they found it recently, and get this, it's the size of an avocado.
No way. So we're talking like a massive diamond here.
Absolutely. It's a perfect example of how Tomra is using its technology for more than just, recycling. This commitment to resource optimization, that's a core part of their business strategy, which they call Tomra Horizon.
Tomra Horizon. Okay, gotta admit, I've never heard of that. What is that exactly?
Essentially, it's their innovation arm, always exploring new ways to optimize resource usage, And this ties directly into their ambitious growth strategy. At their recent Capital Markets Day, CEO Tove Anderson.
Wait, they had a Capital Markets Day. What'd they talk about?
Well, CEO Tove Anderson, she laid out their plan, stating that Tomra's aim is to be a market maker in the industry.
Market maker. Sounds intense. What kind of growth are we talking about here? I mean, be specific.
They're projecting a 15% annual revenue growth every single year until 2030.
Whoa, hold on. 15% year-on-year growth for the rest of the decade. That's massive. Are they projecting to be profitable with that much growth?
Ambitious, for sure. But they're also aiming for an 18% EBITDA margin. Basically, they're saying they can achieve this incredible growth and stay super profitable.
So it's not just about getting big, right? It's about building a business model that's sustainable and profitable for the long term. Fascinating. They're branching out into all these different sectors, but what about their bread and butter? The reverse vending machines, those still a big part of the plan.
Oh, absolutely. Even with all these other ventures, their reverse vending machine business is still projected to grow significantly.
Really? How much are we talking?
They're estimating a 40-50% growth in that sector alone. And get this, just from maximizing existing markets.
Hold on, 40-50% growth, but don't most supermarkets already have those machines? Where's that growth going to come from?
Well, for one, those machines have a lifespan of 10 years. Meaning there's a constant need for replacements and upgrades, right?
That makes sense.
Plus, the whole landscape of deposit return systems is rapidly evolving on a global scale. We're seeing this expansion in countries like Poland and Austria, where these systems are being implemented for the first time.
It's about time. It seems like the rest of the world is finally catching on to what Scandinavia has known for years. These systems actually work.
Exactly. And it's not just Europe. Singapore is another great example of a country embracing deposit return systems. Plus, there's huge potential in places like Spain, Portugal, and even the UK, all considering similar initiatives.
And let's not forget about the EU's target of achieving a 90% collection rate for PET bottles by 2029.
Right. Tomra themselves has pointed out that this ambitious target makes wider spread deposit systems almost unavoidable. Looks like they're in a really good position to capitalize on this global shift towards a more circular economy.
Okay, so they've got this really strong foundation with their reverse vending machines. They're venturing into all these new and exciting areas, and they're projecting this impressive growth. But, and I think I already know the answer to this, it can't all be smooth sailing, right? What are some of the challenges they're facing?
You're right. There are always challenges. One area where they face some headwinds is their food division, actually. They've been dealing with some lower margins and a little bit of reluctance from customers in that sector.
Interesting. So how are they addressing that? What's the game plan to get things back on track?
Well, they've been proactive about implementing restructuring and some cost-saving measures. We're already seeing some positive signs, too.
Okay, so give us the details. What kind of positive signs are we talking about?
Their gross margin has already improved, 2 percentage points compared to last year, and their order intake has gone up by a whopping 23%.
Wow, 23%. That is impressive. So it sounds like they're not afraid of a challenge. They're constantly adapting and optimizing, which actually seems to be a recurring theme with Tomra.
Exactly. They're constantly evaluating and adjusting their approach to try to achieve those ambitious goals. It's this ability to adapt and innovate that makes them such a fascinating company to watch.
It's pretty cool to see a company out there that's so focused on like both sustainability and profitability. You know, it's not just talk, they're actually showing how those goals can like work together, not against each other.
It's a really powerful message.
Yeah.
Tomra is basically demonstrating that sustainability, it can be a driver of innovation and growth, not a barrier.
So if we take everything we've talked about so far, the diverse operations, the growth targets, the challenges, where does it all lead? What's the big picture here?
I think it comes down to this. A fundamental shift in how we think about resources. You know, we're moving away from this old school linear take, make, dispose model to something more circular, one where resources are constantly being reused and repurposed.
And that's where those ambitious growth targets come into play, right?
Exactly. To really transform how we manage resources globally, they need to scale those solutions, those impressive growth numbers. They're not just about making money for shareholders. It's about hitting a critical mass that can actually move the needle on sustainability.
So they're using their success in one area like reverse vending machines to basically fuel innovation and growth in other areas. That's actually a really smart strategy.
It is. And it's encouraging to see investors and markets responding positively to this approach. Their financial targets. Ambitious, yeah, but it shows a commitment to long-term sustainability, not just short-term profits.
It's all about proving that, hey, doing what's good for the planet, it can also be good for business.
Exactly. And that's a powerful message, especially these days.
We talked about some of the struggles in their food division earlier, but what other challenges does Tomra have to overcome to reach those goals?
One of the biggest hurdles is, honestly, overcoming inertia, shifting to a circular economy. It requires everyone to change their behavior. Consumers, businesses, governments, everyone.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about changing how people think.
Exactly. Think about deposit return systems. They work. We know they work. But getting everyone on board, from consumers to retailers to policymakers, it's a long process. Complex, too.
It's like Tomra's doing more than just selling machines. They're selling a whole new way of thinking about resources, about sustainability.
They are. And that takes a certain level of, evangelism. They have to truly believe in their mission, and be able to share that vision in a way that connects with a lot of different people.
It sounds like they're doing a pretty good job so far. But what about the future? What's next for Tomra? Where do they go from here?
That's the million-dollar question, right? I mean, they've already gone from reverse vending machines to, like, cutting-edge diamond detection.
You know, right? It's kind of wild. What's next? Are they going to start, like, mining asteroids or something?
Who knows? Maybe. But seriously, the key takeaway here, Tomra's playing a much bigger game than most people realize.
Okay, so big picture time. We've covered a lot today. What does it all mean for our listeners? Why should they care about Tomra? Beyond, getting their deposit back on a can of soda.
Because Tomra's success or failure, it has a huge impact on all of our futures. If they can achieve their goals, if they can actually become this market maker for a more sustainable world, everything changes. It means we've found a way to decouple economic growth from environmental damage.
So no pressure, Tomra. But the fate of the planet might be resting on your shoulders. No big deal.
The stakes are definitely high.
Yeah.
But, I'm optimistic. The way Tomra combines innovation, ambition, and this commitment to sustainability, it's exactly what we need right now, given all the challenges we're facing. They're showing everyone that a different kind of future is possible. And that's definitely something worth paying attention to.
Yeah, I think just a bottle return company is a bit of an understatement now that we've really gotten to know them.
Just a bit.
It's been incredible to take this deep dive with you today.
Lots to think about.
It's really amazing what you can uncover when you really start digging beneath the surface.
It is.
And that's what we love to do here on the Deep Dive, right?
Absolutely.
But before we go, I do have one final thought-provoking question for you, dear listener. We've seen how Tomra's technology is already being used in such interesting ways, right? Like finding precious resources, making recycling more efficient.
Right.
But with this focus on resource optimization and circular solutions, on a bigger scale, could Tomra actually become a key player in addressing global resource scarcity in the future?
Now that is a question.
Something to ponder. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Tomra.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll catch you next time, Deep Divers.